All right, let me know if you guys can hear me. I knew something was off, which was my microphone. Classic. If you guys can hear me and if you can see me, let me know. We'll start in about 2 minutes. And for those who are new here, well, I'll explain in about a minute when we start. Welcome, Mario. Let me get my headphones on because I can't hear you without them. We are alive and well. I've been talking to the chat for 3 minutes and realized my mic was off the whole time until 2 minutes ago. Happens to the best of us.
Hold on, give me a second. I'm about to come right back. I had that pizza in the oven. It's done. Hold on, give me a second. I'm coming back.
Do you think? All right, let's bring up this chart. I might need to do the entire screen so the people in. Yeah, I took a trade on gold today. I'll go over it in a bit. All right. I have to share the entire screen so everybody can hear you, at least when you and I talk anyway. All right. Let me bring up trading view here. I'll keep Discord over here. All right. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Should be able to see it. Let me move this over a little bit since we're going to need more screen.
Yeah, I see it.
Cool. All right. Welcome. Happy Thursday, everybody. We usually do this on Fridays, but since tomorrow is July 4th, everybody wants to enjoy their day and probably going to be shooting fireworks as opposed to being here going over trades. So figured I'll do it today instead. I will do what I can to get back on schedule properly. The last month has been a little crazy for me. So these sessions, I think I haven't done this in like almost a month. I think the last one was like beginning of last month. So we'll get back on our every 2-week schedule and go from there. Cool. So welcome, everybody. For those who are new here, my name is Advent or Desi, depending where you know me from. In this channel, if you are new here, my main focus and goal is really to go over trading psychology and helping you guys build your system and giving you tips and techniques that I've learned along the way. While I do go over strategy as well, the main effort that I put into is mainly on the psychology part. I have these sessions pretty much every other week. So every 2 weeks, we have this community trade recap where we'll go over my trades, we'll go over your trades, and I'll give you feedback on where you can improve and what you did right, what you did wrong, so on and so forth. Other than that, as always, I'm not a financial advisor, not yet anyway, and this is not financial advice. So let's go to my first trade and my only trade today. Let's go on gold on the 5-minute. Let's bring this up. Cool. So pretty chill day today. I just took a kid and play setup into a slash and bearish TTO / H pattern setup. For those who don't know what that is, pretty straightforward. Pretty much just a dead cat bounce to the downside, except in this case, the one today did not complete at all. So a kid and play. I'm not going to go too deep into it because there's other videos that I've gone over talking about it. It's pretty much, for those who know about the strat, it's a failed 2-up candle, where the failed 2-up candle, in this case, because it's a short version, the bodies are almost aligned. So the closing price of the candle and then the closing price of the failed candle are pretty much flat, or at least one tick apart. So in this case, this is on gold. The closing price was 3339.3, and then the opening price of this failed 2-up was pretty much 3339.4. So 1 tick difference. Generally, I would prefer to have no tick difference, so the same open and close. The most that I'll be lenient with this setup is just a 1 tick difference. If it's more than that, then I'm not taking the trade and I'm leaving it alone. At least based on my journaling and the back testing results and forward testing, if it's more than 1 tick difference, it's probably not going to work out in your favor. So something to keep in mind for those who take that. So pretty straightforward. Once this candle closed, I had a stop market order right under this candle. So as soon as this candle broke it, it immediately got me into the trade. For this specific setup, my stop loss is always the body of the failed candle. So pretty much right over here. And then my first targets is pretty much going to be regular strat targets. So we have a target 1 here. I'll probably skip this one because it's like pretty close. And I was going to use this one right down there. Then this wick. And then the bottom of this level here, pretty much completing the H pattern and using the kid and play as an entry model. And that's pretty much it. In this case, it only hit the first target. It did not complete all the way to the bottom. So with slippage, I got about 4.1 points on that one, or 41 ticks. Left the trade with about $131. Would have been a little more, but hey, we take what the market gives us, not what we want. And that's basically what I did. Made $131 in 5 minutes. Can't be mad at that. And then after about 2 hours, nothing really happened, at least in the market for me personally. And then I got off at noon and called it a day. And that's pretty much it. Any questions on that? Also, for those who are viewing on YouTube, you can put your trade in the chat. Whatever trades you want me to go over and give you feedback on, put it in the chat. Doesn't matter if it's a winner. Doesn't matter if it's a loser. Doesn't matter if you don't know anything. We're all here to learn. Any level is fine. I'll go over options trades, Forex, regular stock, futures. Doesn't matter. I've traded it all.
I don't mind sharing a trade I took.
Was it on NQ?
Yeah, NQ. Go to the 5 minute. I don't know if we have your sessions break, but it was a Asia trade.
It was on Asia from this morning or last
Matter
night.
of fact, right there. Ooh, where that wick is at, right there. Well, yep, right there. Yep. Where that wick is at. Where that tall wick.
You took it short or
Right.
long?
Short.
What was the?
No, back over here. Right. You just get it right there.
Let me get an arrow. So.
That one right there. Yep.
Yep.
So that's previous days. If you take I got levels drawn up, but that's previous days high that it came from, that it went from.
Wednesday high or Tuesday high?
Tuesday high.
Let me mark that off.
What's the day?
Today's Thursday.
Wait.
So
Today's Thursday, and I took it on yesterday, so it had to been Wednesday's high. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
Wait. Hold
I'm
on.
gonna
My mind is confused. Wait.
I'm gonna mark it out so
My
we can
mind
see
is
it on
so
the screen.
confused. So it was Asia. Let's see. So it had to have been on Wednesday's high. Yeah, Wednesday's high. Wednesday's high.
All right, let's go back to the 5 minute. And during Asia, yeah, it was Wednesday high, so we got that push above it, and we were wicking
And then
out
I
earlier
seen
too.
that wick out, and I just seen that we couldn't push back up. So I just got in it on that second two candle
Right here,
on
or
that
the
two.
red one.
Nah, the next one over. Yeah,
This one
that
here.
one. Yeah, that kind of gave me like, okay, well, we're gonna push down. My target was just the lows. All them lows resting, all those like
Like
equal
over here.
lows. Yeah, yeah. That was my target.
Very nice. So pretty much he was aiming for this over here. Where was your what was your stop loss?
My stop loss was the top of that 50% of the wick.
50%?
Yeah,
Nice.
of that wick.
Very nice. Even at the top of this
Because I
box.
was like, if we get back up there, then it's probably gonna, like that's a big wick. If we eat over 50% of it, then oh well.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. That was was it 15, about 14 to 17 points. I'll take it. Less
Yeah,
than an hour.
17. Yeah.
Very nice. And then right after that, change the delivery back to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
better
don't know
than
why
me.
I was taking London trades and Asia trades. I took one of New York this morning that I thought it's not a good trade. I mean, we can go over it. It's not a good trade though. I shouldn't have took it even though it was a winner. I shouldn't have took it. It was at 9. You in the 5 minute hand already. So
Yeah.
it was at, let's see, that's 9:30. No, so it was like right before. Wait, let me go on my notes.
So this will be the market open candle right here.
So it was at 9:55. We came back to touch like the top of orb. We already like pushed up. So I was
Yep.
like, okay. But see, the bad thing is that we had news, so I just had my stop at the top of 15-minute orb.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good trade. I journal that because I hold it during news. Even though it went my way, it could have easily went wrong fast.
100%. You braver than me on NQ, holding to the news.
Yeah, no, I usually don't. I'm not gonna lie, I usually don't. And I journal that today to never do that again. Because even though it went my way, it could have went really bad.
100%. I remember maybe like 3 months into trading, my account was like at 3,000, and I put like 2,500 into this trade. I was trading penny stocks at the time. I never put my whole account into a trade, and it was a pharmaceutical stock. And for those who have traded those, you know that if the news that comes out about them is bad, you're gonna get obliterated. So right before the news came out, it went up like 30, 40%. I took everything off. My biggest one at that time, I was sweating bullets. I was like, I would never hold through news again. It's too nerve-wracking. Glad it worked out though.
Yeah, nah, I definitely. And after that, it just kind of like chopped around. So
Yeah, it didn't really do much for
I
a
didn't
bit.
really do too much after that.
Very nice. 2 solid trades. Performance was poor, as you mentioned, because you held it through news. But other than that, definitely glad this one worked in your favor because it would have been south. It would have went south.
Yeah, yeah, never doing that again. I noticed, man. And I'm gonna probably get on you with a one-on-one. My biggest problem, man, is I need to like my risk is like I need to figure out or maybe you have a session. You have like something that I can go to. With my risk? It's
Hmm.
like sometimes like I'm kind of not really like setting a risk like for every trade the same. It's like it's how I feel about the trade, and that's not good. It shouldn't be like a certain risk for for the trade
Hmm. Yeah, send me
for each setup.
some examples of what you've been doing. Like to
Mhm.
quickly talk about it for like a minute. Um, like I wouldn't really go by like how I feel about the trade. It's more so of like the setup for me. So like the setup that I risk the most on is like a W setup. So usually I'll risk like usually 4 to 450 on that trade, while usually I'll be risking about 2 to 250 on other setups, usually 200 on other setups. Just because for me, the W accounts for about, I think last time I checked my journal about 2 days ago, or last week rather, it W accounts for like 15% of my profits. So it's pretty much one of the biggest ones that brings a lot more money in. So I tend to risk more
Mhm.
because it brings in more. While the other ones, they do bring in goods amount, but I still am a little more conservative with those. But yeah, just send me some examples of what you've been doing lately, and then we can just come up with a plan just to solidify it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. My YouTube crowd, you guys have any trades you want me to go over? Whatever trades you want me to go over, put it in the chat. I'm probably going to make a video this weekend about this, but um, as always, for those who may be new to trading, take your time, be patient. Obviously, you want to make money, but you have to go through the ropes. You're not going to be professional in a month. You're not going to be professional in a year. It's very, very unlikely, probability wise anyway, that you'll be making $1 billion in a year, as I'm sure you want. I started taking judo recently, and it's been interesting because I'm on like the beginner level of being taught something, and I've seen a lot of parallels when it comes to like doing that and trading, in the sense of going into it. I'm seeing people like flipping people and throwing people, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that like now. But in judo, the first thing they teach you is how to fall, because if you do not fall correctly, you're going to injure your head or injure yourself, which is what you definitely don't want. So the same thing with trading, you got to learn the basics and you have to have a strong foundation. And then from there, you'll be able to learn the more advanced techniques and, get some other results that you want and things like that. And I find a lot of new people tend to skip a lot of the foundational steps because it might be boring. Um, they may not want to do it, like journaling, having uh, having proper risk management. Jolie, your mic is hot. I muted you for now. Um, yeah, so journaling, risk management, things like that, it has to be done, right? The same exact practices that we were doing yesterday, they also had the black belts doing. So we were all doing the exact same practices. Doesn't matter if you were new or if you were tenured, we all did the exact same thing. So whether you're new, whether you've been trading for a while, the foundation has to be done every single day. If you trade, you can journal, right? So people might be lazy. Oh, I don't want to journal. It takes a little while, this and that. If you can trade for 4 hours straight or 8 hours straight, you can spend 20 minutes doing your journal and going over your trades. And if not, then you're not really going to reach whatever it is that you want. So As always, it's always levels that you continue to increase and get better on. And if you don't even have the foundational things, it doesn't matter. Because I know people who know how to trade, right? Like they know how to take the setups, they know how to make money, but they never took the initial foundational steps, right? Journaling, know, understand their bad habits, what triggers them, what causes them to go on tilt, and they just lose the money, right? Over and over and over. And they're stuck in that cycle. They make a lot of money, they lose a lot of money because they don't know how to hold on to it because they don't have that foundational, um, the foundations. So definitely would encourage you guys to always go through the beginning steps and do it properly because the money will eventually come. But again, you need to go step by step. Supreme, if you are new here and you don't know how to read candles, I would highly recommend the Candlestick Bible. You can find it. Um, you can find it for free on, just search Google and go like, Candlestick Bible PDF and you'll find it. If you can't find it, just send me an email at ceruleanmindacademy@gmail.com. Or if you know me on Discord, send me a message. My username is Advent and I'll send it over to you. But that would pretty much go over like all the basics. So highly recommend that.
One thing that I would like add to what you just said is for me, for a while, like what I found that works best for me with journaling. Journaling is like, well, just in my overall trading to help me improve was like I have to like journal while I'm taking the trade almost. So like while the trade, like if I see a trade setting up, like I try because at first I would try to jump in and be like, oh, this trade leaving me. So then like after journaling, like after a while, I figure out, okay, you keep going through the same thing to where you jump into trades because you don't have a good entry, so then you're getting stopped out just for trades to go your way. So like I figured that okay, if I can get in, journal my trades like as it's happening, okay, like step one, okay, like because I got steps. Okay, well this happened, I seen this happen, now I'm waiting for this. Okay, that happened, okay, good, and then that happened, and then okay, I can get into the trade. So that kind of helps me like journal, and kind of like confirm that everything that I want for that trade to happen to be happening for me to get into the trade. That's how me personally, I kind of like that's how it helps me balance. It's just like trying to judge the trade out as it's happening. Because I mean, it is rare. I mean, unless you're taking your trades on 1 minute of setups, but it's rare for you to like hop in and like, oh yeah, like 2 minutes your trade is happening right there. Like the setup is already there. Like it's kind of start forming as you're looking at it, you'll see it. So it's kind of easier to just journal as it's happening. And then you can kind of make sure that, okay, well, this happened, but this didn't happen. It already invalidated its trade. So it kind of helped you like not took a trade that, helped you with a step because you was journaling it as you taking the trade, if that makes sense. And then you
Hun-
still can like record the end if it was a winner or loser or what happened.
yeah, 100%. Like journaling on the spot, especially with those questions, like why are you even taking them? Because there's a lot of people who will get into trades and I would ask them, hey, why do you get in here? They're like, I'm not sure. I'm like, that's a problem, right? We shouldn't just be getting in just to get in, especially if we don't know what's going on. And even writing it down helps a lot because one, it causes you to think on the spot, right? It's like, all right, why am I getting into this? As opposed to kind of just doing it and going off impulse. Cool. Jordan said, I've been going maybe a month and a half. Oh, actually, one last thing I'll mention, Mario, too. Like on top of the like writing down what's going on the spot, I know for you, you've like learned a lot in the last year we've been speaking. For those who may still struggle with like journaling or really understanding what's going on with you, you can even record yourself, like record your session if you're able to, right? That way you can see like live what's happening And you can even talk to yourself out loud. It might feel weird, but we talk to ourselves in our head all the time. What's the difference out loud? And by you hearing yourself, you actually hear what's going on as opposed to keeping it in your head where you're not really letting it out. So it can build up and take you over. But yeah, definitely good
I
stuff.
know I asked you this before, but what would you use to like record yourself?
Different things. For me, it's pretty easy because I have the paid Zoom and I can just record it for like as long as I need to. Free alternatives when I used to stream when I was younger, like games and stuff. Um, you can check out OBS Studio. You can use that as well to stream and record your screen. For those who have um, a Windows device with a NVIDIA graphics card, uh, Luckner, your mic is hot, or your mic is open.
Sorry,
Um,
guys. I got it.
you can use also OBS will be one. Zoom, if you have the paid one, you can do that. I know Kia mentioned she uses Loom. I never used Loom before, but you can do that if you want. I think that one's paid. They might do like a free one for like every like 30-minute sessions or 1 hour at a time. If you have a Windows computer with an NVIDIA graphics card, you can record your screen that way. I've never used an AMD card, so maybe you can do it with AMD too. I'm pretty sure they would have that at this point. But yeah, those are a bunch of different options. For MacBook devices, I know you can record the whole screen, but something to keep in mind that when you do that option, the files are really big. So like if I do, let's say like a 5 or 7 minute screen recording, it might be like a gigabyte. And if you're doing like a 2-4 hour session, that thing's going to be gigantic. So the other versions like Zoom, I usually enjoy because I can do like a 2-hour class or recording and it'll maybe be like 300 megabytes, if that. So it's pretty chill. But definitely check out OBS and Loom. And those might be some better options if you don't want to pay for the Zoom.
Thank you. I got a Windows computer, I think it is, and it has AMD on it, and it has a lot of RAM on this one. So, and I got like a chip, so I might be able to just like record myself and like just add it to my SD card, so it's not like putting too much space on
Definitely.
my computer.
I think the
Thank you.
of course, just look up like the shortcut to bring up like, I guess, the AMD panel. And then it might say like screen recording. I always forget what it is here. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Does it come up on the screen? Yeah. So like on my screen, on the YouTube people can see it, but I can record right now if I wanted to off my desktop. Cool. Jordan mentioned he's been going, I'm assuming you mean you've been trading for maybe a month and a half, resetting your paper account, and you started journaling. Nice, Jordan. Good stuff. Journaling is really going to be key in what's going to help you a lot in your trading career, because it's going to let you know what works, what doesn't work, what you need to improve on, and your P&L curve does not lie, right? Some people might think I'm a great trader, but if you keep on making these mistakes, your account value is going to tell you if you're doing good or bad. Now, of course, there's a difference between if you're just in a losing streak, but you're taking your setups versus you're losing because you're doing bad habits. Two different things, but journaling would help with that. Definitely keep doing it. Now it's time to pour some concrete. Jordan, based on your paper trading, are you consistent yet? Like, are you consistently getting, are you winning more? Are you still like kind of break even? Are you still losing more than winning, or what exactly is going on? About 5%. 5% what specifically? Like you grew the account 5%, you've been winning 5% of the time, you've been losing 5% of the time. What exactly? Nice. Cool. What I would probably I'll ask you these questions. What do you trade? Do you trade options, futures, regular stock, crypto? What? Futures, crypto, using the strat. Nice. What specific setups do you take when you're trading the strat? And what time frames? Nice. Glad to have you coming back to the channel. Sweet. One thing that I like to do with the strat is not necessarily taking any setup that presents itself. I always take the setup in conjunction with like a model, right? So for example, let's see if I can find a clean example here. Price action has been a little weird. To keep it straightforward, basically what helped me refine using the strat is really just using it in conjunction with different models, right? Like there's like the Momo Hammer shooter setup, and we have one pretty much right here. Momo Hammer shooter, for if you don't know what that is, this is on the 15-minute, by the way. It appears on any time frame, but the higher the time frame, the stronger it is. Pretty much you have a big bar. We have it can be an inside bar or a slight 2-up hammer candle, and then you take the next one up, right? So even though this is a 2-1-2 setup, I have more confluence or more of a story to build for the trade, as opposed to, I just took a regular 2-1-2 up, right? So that helped me refine the strat a lot more, using it in conjunction with like trade models and go from there. That way you can take less trades, but the trades that you do take are higher probability.
Can I add something?
Go for it.
So I like that you said that because I've also been working on refining my entries. And one of the things that I used to love trading were these failed 2-ups and failed 2-downs. But I was going through some of my old back testing, and I used to take every single one of them that popped up. And it was like 55% win rate kind of thing. But I've been back testing just taking them only after 1 bars and 3 bars. I'm taking them as like failed breakouts of inside bars and failed breakouts of outside bars. And that's definitely reduced the amount that pops up in a single day, and it also has made them higher quality because there's a specific reason why that failure is happening.
Nice. Definitely glad you got that. Speaking of which, welcome, Omari. Omari is blessing us, everybody. He's going to let us know what the crystal ball says for next week on Monday, whether we should full port longs or shorts. What trades did you take today, Luckner? Anything you want to go over? If you're talking, I can't hear you. I see your mic is like unmuted, but I can't hear you if you're talking. Oh, his Discord's messing up. I'll wait for him to come back in. Still can't hear you if you're talking. I might need to like close Discord entirely and then bring it back up. In the meantime, Jordan, what I would probably do if I were you is, since you're still new, so you're about a month and a half into this, um, I would paper trade for the next like month or two until you have consistency over a good amount of time, and then I would use a small amount of real money and then slowly go from there. I can hear you now. Look, and I heard my voice echoing.
Hey there. You can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think I took away my my headphones, and I think Discord had an issue switching inputs.
Oh yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm just logging into Upstep, which now it's not allowing me to. I took a couple of, actually, I can walk you through. If you go, I think all my trades were on YM today.
What time frame?
Pretty straightforward. All of them, well, most of them on the 5-minute today. I think I'll have to go back and check everything that I took, but I know for sure I took around 11 o'clock. I took that failed 2 up.
11,
Or that
11,
failed 2 down. I went
11,
up, so 2 bars
like
to the
right
left.
here?
Yeah.
Like a little doji 2 up?
Yeah, exactly. So I took that up. It almost went, just didn't go all the
Yeah,
way.
almost.
And that was one where it was tough because, like, I got up to go to the washroom and I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen by the time I get back. I got back in a big 3 bar. I just printed and I'm like, man. So anyways, I let it go. Took the L on that one. That one was a bit of a tough one to swallow, but it happens.
Let's explore
Um,
that real quick. Why was it a tough trade to swallow?
I think because I was already having a bit of a rough morning. I think my Chrome has to update, so I'm having trouble logging into Top Step with my password manager. But I think I was like up and down the whole day. Like a loss here, a win here, a loss here, a partial win here, and it's just fluctuating constantly. And like obviously, it was the last trading day of the week. I wanted to end green. I wasn't so like. It wasn't so important to me to end green, but like I also didn't want to trade stupid. So I was also trading a little bit scared. I didn't want to take bad trades. I was trying to I think I might have even been overly cautious. So once I saw, the almost compound 3 fail and I saw the 2 up, I was like, okay, this is a good setup. We're probably going to go back and revisit the top of the 3, and it got real close, and I don't know. I think I was just expecting that one to go, and it didn't go. So I think I just had expectations for it.
Yeah, I was about to say, because when I hear things like that, like, oh, it was a hard trade to like accept or what have you, it's usually followed up by I was expecting it to go my favor.
Yeah.
And that's always the danger, right? Like for me, I just make it easier on my mind. It's kind of like thinking in reverse. So instead of thinking like, yes, this trade is gonna win and this and that, I'm just like, this trade is probably gonna fail. That way, when it doesn't, I'm like, cool. And if it does fail, I'm like, well, it was gonna fail anyway. So it's less
Yeah.
of a mental hit for me. It helps me. Some people don't really care to do that. It helps some people. Some others it doesn't. You can try it if you want, see if it works or not for you. But generally, helps me anyway.
No, that's fair. I try to tell myself that that time around though.
I was telling somebody
Yep.
this morning. Well, no, this afternoon. He's pretty new. He's been trading for like maybe 3 weeks now, maybe 4 weeks. He took his account from 3,000 to 4,000 this week, and he lost the entire 1,000 today in one day. And this is what I always tell you guys: just because you had a great week doesn't mean you should break your rules, right? So he was following his risk management, all of that stuff. But he's like, well, I've been making a lot of money this week. Let me just use more of my account. And then gave all the profits back in one day off 2 trades. So as always, risk management and manage your expectations, whether good or bad. That way you can avoid these moments. Like yesterday, was it yesterday? I think I took a W, which failed, and then changed to the delivery, which won. While it was a little annoying that I lost the W, I didn't really feel anything in the sense of like negative, because I'm like, it's either going to win or lose. And I put the amount of money that I was willing to risk on that trade. So it's like, there's nothing really to be upset about, right? But anyway, continue. What other trades you take?
No, so there's some really good points. What else did I take? I took I honestly can't remember exactly what I was thinking about this one. So I know I mentioned in the journaling that I took one bad trade. This might be a second bad trade because I can't think of the context behind this one. But we'll expose it. This is actually let me finish my YM trades. My last trade, or my last 2 trades of the day, were right after this loss. So that big 3 bar that essentially knocked me out. The next one I took as a 2-2 down. That one there. So I got in on the low of that. And essentially what I was playing was an ABC that had failed. And so we had the first pullback, which was the 2. We failed to make a new high. So that second a second entry was that 1 bar that just got ticked above, and then we made a new low and then closed below the previous low. And so I was looking for a change in direction. I was looking to go short from there. So actually my entry was on the next candle.
Your entry was on this 2 down?
No, on the upper 3 bar, the 2 down.
Yeah, so this one right here. The one that the arrow's pointing at?
Yeah. Okay, I think it's just the way you had the order marked up.
Yes, and the idea is basically that you're like the stop orders under here. So this candle's triggering you in. You usually.
Oh, sorry, no, that's wrong. Yeah, it's I would have gotten triggered on the failed 2 down.
Oh wait, this candle here?
Yes, yeah, that was my entry candle.
So you got in like down here.
Yes.
For a short?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that one was already too late because the M pretty much completed on that one.
I was waiting for that low of that 2 bar that I took from before to be closed below.
Yep.
But it was jumping the gun because, like, yes, we did break the new low, but we haven't confirmed. Like, I should have waited for a retracement or another signal to get in instead of just getting in on the close below. So I knew it was dicey. I was like, I don't know if this is the right trade to take or not. I'm like, if I see any kind of rejection, I'm just gonna get out. Like, I'm not even gonna give this thing a chance to go all the way to stop loss. And as soon as that failed 2 started printing, I'm like, I can see the kid and play happening. So I just hopped out before the candle closed, and I hopped up on the kid and play and went the other way instead.
Nice. You took it to the upside?
Yeah.
Cool.
I got P1, and then I got knocked out on that set of equal 2s that reverse each other there.
Like over here. Yeah, like there's like tweezer 2s right there. Not bad. You pretty much did good in like immediately reversing your trade. Sometimes I'm pretty slow to do that. So good stuff there. Yeah. For this one, what I probably would have done is, as you mentioned, right? Obviously, we're bullish. Pretty much the whole day, we're bullish.
Yeah.
Once I saw that 3 candle close above this red candle, I'm like, all right, cool. I can probably take a short to target these lows over here. I probably would have entered in as soon as this 3 candle close, like as a market order, and then I'll probably have like another order sitting at that the bottom of this red candle, and then I'll be aiming for this low, which it would have hit on that failed candle, and then I would have been stopped out at break even for the rest of the contracts once they came back up, since I would have canceled this order since it already hit target.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah, definitely good stuff on taking that reversal back to the upside. As you mentioned, you know, like when I'm looking for, if I'm going to counter trend trade, I'm going to need like a lot more data, right? And for those who may be new, keep trading simple, right? I know I saw a lot of people in the chat today, at least in a group that I support, where they got burned on puts. I think it was like on SPY, and they were like buying puts like near, like all the way over here, and it was pretty much like an hour or two of just getting murdered. And I'm like, why are you guys buying puts when there is, I don't see any short setup at all. And some dude, I think, blew his account, his real account. Some other dudes like lost a lot of money, and it's like, if the market doesn't say go short, don't go short, right? Like, again, going back to market basics, if you're making higher highs and higher lows, you shouldn't be looking for shorts. You should be looking for longs. Now, if the market changes, right? Let's say like up here, let me bring up the line graph. So we can see here, pretty much after that 3 candle closed, instead of making a higher high, or a higher low, we made a lower low where price was closing below this level. So the market structure shifted briefly when that 3 candle printed. So you always want to be looking for the change in market structure so you can look for shorts, right? Like sometimes if you get a big displacement candle, you can come back at the retracement where it fills you and then it keeps on going down. In this case, it kind of started chopping, which is probably to be expected on these pre-holiday trading days. But that's pretty much what I will usually do. Once I get that, like a displacement or like a body closing under these levels, like it did over here, I'll be looking to get the retracement back down. Because even in this case, if I were to look to take this to the downside, this one would have stopped me out though, because the H didn't complete. I would have gotten in on the 60 fib, probably would have had my stop loss above this high there, aiming for this H to complete. In this case, it didn't. And I usually, for this, like when I'm front running the H, I'm looking for at least the 23 fib to be hit as my first target, which it didn't. And then it would have stopped me out. But this would have been a better trade for me as opposed to just buying puts as price continues to go up with no confirmation that the structure has shifted.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if I'm going to keep taking trades like that. I'm trying to find more trades with a better, obviously a better expectancy, but also just a better context behind them. So I've long been, looking into some of like quote unquote the old school traders, if you want. So like, for example, like there's a pretty nice 2B pattern on this chart right now. Like that line that you drew from the high of that red 2. If you look all the way to the right, there's that failed 2 or that 2 up that just ticks
this one
projects there. Once you close below that, after you've taken out the previous high, that's a good short. Like I'm trying to take more trades like that, where like I'm playing off of liquidity levels. I'm playing off of old highs and old lows that get swept, and trying to use those as my entries for shorts instead of just, because a lot of the times some of these big 3 candles they're just a deep retracement on a higher time frame. It's not an actual change in trend.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And I just didn't look at the higher time frame that time, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, like even here on the 15-minute structure didn't change yet.
Yeah.
Pretty much didn't change at all. until the end of the day when it finally closed below all these levels. But yeah, those liquidity sweeps reversals, those things freaking print.
Yeah.
But hey, we learned from our losses. Good stuff. And you ended green today, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think I was down 50 or 60 bucks, and I was trying to hit the very top on the retracement. We hit it, but I got knocked out before we got there. But I still got TP1 in a bit, so that last trade got me green. I was like, no matter what happens, I'm done for the day. So
yeah,
whatever happens, happens.
Cool. For those who are coming in, if you want me to look at any of your trades, put it in the chat. We got like 10 more minutes. In the meantime, anything else you guys want to go over?
Can I pop in here, Evan?
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Hey, yeah, it's Jordan from YouTube chat as well.
Oh, nice. Makes sense.
Can I ask you about? Yeah, I didn't know chat was on for this one. Can I ask you about that one candle after that big 2 drop and that
like
1 2
like
2?
the Momo hammer stuff.
Oh no, on the right. So after this
over here,
head and shoulders kind of thing, and then no, but after that, down at the 1 big 2 drop to your right there.
So this right here,
the right.
over here
No,
after the
big
market
2,
closed, right here,
and then the little one, that little teeny doji on the right there.
Yep.
On the right, yeah, one more over.
Let me get this arrow. So this one or
no, not that
this
one.
one.
Not that one. That little one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. That would have probably prompted a trade for me. I'm just curious what you might have seen there.
To the upside or the downside?
Probably for the downside, since it's an H.
Well, the inside bar would have gotten you in the trade, or you would have just had a short
I would have
waiting to get in.
Right, I would have used the bottom of that wick on the 1 to enter the trade.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. It's just funny. It's just kind of squiggling down. Not much happening. I do realize it's on the 5-minute though.
The only thing that I don't like about this H or bearish CTO is that generally once we like trigger the bearish CTO, which happened on this red candle here, we shouldn't be reversing to the upside. We should just be continuing down to the downside. So it should be 2 down, 2 down, 2 down, 2 down.
Oh no, I wouldn't have done a long reversal. I would have continued with the down.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like in this one, it went 2 down, then it went a 2-1-2 up reversal. It shouldn't be reversing on a bearish CTO. It should just be 2 downs until it completes. For example, let me see if I can find one. Mark has been pretty bullish, so
that one, okay, yeah, I see.
What has been? Tesla's been bearish. Might be easier here.
You don't say. Yeah, I'd like them to really go down and people get scared, and then I'll go for a long on Tesla.
I'm definitely curious what he says next week. Let's try the 15-minute. Might be a little cleaner. Let's see. Not the best example that I would want to use, but we'll use it for now. Because this one has a 3 candle. Shouldn't be a 3. Should be straight 2 down. But let's just say for the sake of the conversation, this is just a 2 down and not a 3 or 2 up that went 3 down. So pretty much once it triggers the short, we shouldn't be reversing to the upside. Although technically this would be a valid H because it went 2 up and then it went 3 down. So the 3 down would have been your entry for the H. And we can see after the 3 down, it just kept on going 2 down until the H completed, right? Not like the other example that we saw where it went 2 down and then it went 2 and 2 up. Where in this one, it never went 2 down yet. it reversed back to the upside again, and then it went back down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're saying so basically it's invalidated because we had a 2 up after the 3, and so we should kind of move on to the next idea, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because to me the probability is a lot lower, even though it would have worked out depending where you had your stop. If I were to get into this
Right.
trade, my stop would have just been above the little
Yeah.
H crest or hump right there. So this candle would have wicked me out if I got in.
Okay. Yeah.
But in this case, if you didn't catch the original short and you were looking to get back into the short, this to me wouldn't really be valid, because yeah, it's like a second entry, but I don't have proper data on these. Just from what I've seen, they usually don't work as efficiently as you would want them to.
I think I just see a doji and it immediately kind of like, oh, here we go. That's kind of where I'm ripping up right now.
Gotcha. But yeah, you'll see some clean ones. You trade the strat on futures? Definitely do. I trade the strat and like 2 ICT concepts, and that's it. Keep it simple. What was getting killed this week? I want to find a clean H. Actually, you might be able to see this old Tesla trade that I took. I think it was on the 4 hour. Yeah, on the 4 hour. So we have right here, this is on the 4 hour, so it's not going to be that clean. Let me turn these fibs off so we can see it cleaner. So pretty much right here, come down, retrace up, reverse back down. We can see how after the 2 down, it just continued going 2 down until the H completed down here. It never reversed back up. It was just a clean bearish reversal to the downside and completed.
And that's a trade you would have entered or did enter, and if so, where did you get in on that?
There's a trade that I did take. So I got in on this 2 down here on the following day,
Okay.
market open.
Oh, because you had the flat top bar.
Yep. So we opened up
thing.
as an inside bar. So it actually gave me not a probably, but the chance to actually get in on time, because Tesla sometimes like to gap up or down and then just go straight to the target where it's supposed to go, which I definitely don't enjoy. But this one worked out perfectly. Opened up as an inside bar, triggered 2 down, got in immediately as soon as that broke, took some profit here, took everything off once the H completed and called it a day.
This is like a kid and play.
Nah, this would just be a regular continuation to the downside.
Okay, because it was a 1, right? Okay, got it.
I don't really do kid and plays on like regular stock, because like in this case, the closing price and the opening price are the exact same. So this would have been like a kid and play. The only thing though about the kid and play is that the second candle, so it's a series of 3 candles, right? There's the first candle, then there's the second candle, which is the failed candle. We don't have a failed candle here. This is just a setup that happens to just be flat, right? And then we have the continuation over here to the downside. So I wouldn't really consider this a kid and play, because the kid and play is a failed 2 candle, and then you're getting in on the 3rd candle in the sequence.
Okay, so the second candle should have an upper wick on it, or vice versa.
Yeah, if it's a short,
it should have fought a bit.
Yeah, if it's a short setup, the second candle in the series is going to have a wick, and then it's going to close red as a failed 2 down.
Okay, and then the first candle should be as flat as possible.
Yeah, if it has a small wick, that's fine.
And then, okay, small wick.
Yeah, like something like this over here.
So you entered in on this. Sorry, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, like over here, we got the flat, short wick, long wick with a failed 2 up, and then you take that 2 down. So I entered in on this candle.
You came in on this, on that one.
Yep.
I'm just curious why, if it wasn't a kid and play, what made you decide to enter in on a 2 candle? With that, Two. Oh, because it was a 1. Okay, got it. Oh, okay, got it. So you see the reversal, and then you're just continuing using it as a continuation because it was still a 1 candle when you entered, and then it popped through. Okay, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, so I didn't enter in on the 1 candle. It just opened up as a 1 candle so I can get in on time.
Right.
So as soon as this candle broke this low, I got in immediately for puts.
I think what might have just gotten lost over time is just that this initially started as looking for an H pattern.
Yeah, this is pretty much a bearish TTO or H that I took. And then I got in on that candle.
Okay. Would you have gotten in on that first down too?
This one over here?
Yeah.
No, because
The bottom of the first.
this candle triggered in the afternoon, and I don't trade in the afternoon, especially options.
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't swing trade it either, especially not Tesla. I'll day trade Tesla. I'm not going to swing trade Tesla. Because if Elon tweets, I'm either going to go to heaven or I'm going to be at Wendy's for a weekend. And I'm good on that.
Right. I think I'm still relying on that 1 candle, to use as my entry reference. So I'm more comfortable with these kind of Q2 continuation.
Yeah, and that's definitely fine too. Like Rob Smith even said, like if you're new to the strat, don't try to learn every single setup. Just focus on like 2 or 3 and
Right.
only trade those until you get comfortable. Then you can expand into other things.
Okay. Yeah.
Trennis.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Trennis, I do have some market structure setups, yeah, and some the only like liquidity sweep setup that I really use of ICT would just be like change state of delivery or right strat. The only I forgot that you're on your buddy's username. The only setups for ICT that I'll use that include liquidity sweeps will be like the 2022 model and change state of delivery. It's pretty much all I use with that, with the liquidity sweep concept added in. I don't want to really burn my brain with everything else that he goes over.
Ezzy,
Yep.
did you learn all of, well, I mean, and forgive me, this is a dumb question, but did you learn all of the ICT stuff and pick out what you wanted, or you kind of just went in knowing that, like, I kind of just want to focus on something akin to XYZ and picked out what you wanted to learn and just left it at that?
So I never learned ICT properly. Like I never went through none of his mentorships or anything like that. I just looked at setups that other people would always like post. And I'm like, I've seen that happen so many times, but I never really knew how to enter in on it. Right. Like breaker blocks, it finally clicked in my head when like Omari showed me like how he drew his fib when he's like getting in on the short, if it's a short version. Basically, at least the way I conceptualize it, is the breaker blocks that I've seen. I'm sure they come in different shapes and sizes, but essentially, let's say market comes up, we get a big displacement candle, and then once we get that reversal back to the upside, there's like an order block that will be like over here, and then once we get our fib tool, we're pretty much gonna get in on the 61 fib to, can I reactivate this? Guess not. Pretty much going to take that back down to pretty much complete the H. So for me, the breaker block is basically a change in market structure with a solid closed candle, pretty much killing all the buyers in this area. So now we shouldn't have any buyers left. So when price comes up, we're going to catch whatever sellers were still hanging out to continue heading back down. And basically, to me, is just the front running an H, right? Using fibs. At least that's how I conceptualize it in my head. But if you were to ask me, hey, what exactly is a breaker block? What exactly is an order block? I couldn't tell you. I just know visually like what it means and what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And it turns out that my W retracement setup is a bullish breaker block, which is hilarious because I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Basically, except I think that they look for a liquidity sweep first. So the 2022 model will be the liquidity sweep, come up, then we come down, hit the 61 fib and head higher. Where for my
Okay.
W retracement, same concept, but I'm looking for the higher low. And then when it retraces, if the 50 fib matches up with the center, I'm going to take that to take it higher. So basically, if the 50 fib lands like in the center, I'm using that as additional confluence to take the order back to the upside. And again, keep things simple, right? Basic support and resistance. We have resistance in this area. Price breaks through it. So a lot of buyers killed whatever sellers were hanging out there. There shouldn't be any sellers anymore. Once they retrace it, you're going to come back down and bounce off this support area that used to be resistance. So now there should only be buyers here to take it back up. At least that's how I make it make sense in my head.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right. It is, one thing to note, Jordan, as well. Usually, if there's a fair value gap, like right over here, that lines up with the 50 fib, that adds even more confluence to the trade. So, always good things to add in there and keep mind of. All right, we're 10 minutes over. Appreciate you guys for coming out. Enjoy your 4th of July. And I will see you guys on the weekend. Actually, Brown and Omari, since you're here, I'll just tell you now, I have judo at 11 because Sensei wants me to practice this one thing that I haven't done yet. And that class starts at 11. So I'll start the class, but I'll leave it up to whoever wants to share. Sick of the new life that I found. It'll be for this one because I don't really care too much for this practice, but you know, I've been summoned, so I'll have the thing starting for whoever wants to jump in and share. Anyway, appreciate you guys again. If you are new to the channel, definitely appreciate if you like and subscribe. There's going to be more content. Definitely check out the playlists on the channel. I pretty much go over building your system, trading psychology, strategy, all that good stuff. Somebody messaged me that they went full time just off my content on YouTube. So you can probably do it too. You just have to go through all the material that's there. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Enjoy your night and get some rest. Later.